To organize the outer world is, above all, to organize the inner world. We live in a time marked by haste, by the constant pursuit of more, and by the invisible weight of things that accumulate in our homes, in our schedules, and above all, in our hearts. We carry the feeling that it is never enough, that something is always missing. More achievements, more possessions, more goals. Yet excess does not bring clarity, it only distances us from what is essential. At this point, Japanese wisdom presents itself as a discreet beacon, offering not miraculous solutions, but subtle habits that illuminate life in a profound way. Japan, with its tradition rooted in respect for nature, in contemplation, and in the balance between body and spirit, teaches that lightness does not mean the absence of responsibility, but rather conscious presence in every gesture. From the minimalist simplicity that values empty space to Ikigai, which reveals the intimate purpose of existence, from the practice of Kaizen, which invites daily progress, to the serenity of Shinrin-yoku, each habit is a window to a clearer, freer, more human way of living. This video is not about copying customs from a distant culture, but about learning from them. What I present here are invitations. Daily rituals that can cross borders and find a place in any heart willing to open. So, as you watch it, allow yourself to walk slowly, to reflect on your own excesses, to rediscover your purposes, and perhaps, to reinvent your relationship with time, with objects, and with yourself. And you? Are you ready to discover the Japanese secret to an organized and light life? Habit 1. Ikigai, the purpose of living. The Japanese person wakes up each morning not just to go through a routine, but to reconnect with their Ikigai, that intimate reason that gives shape and value to their existence. It is not about grand achievements or excessive ambitions, but about what sustains their daily journey. Tending the garden, preparing tea, teaching with patience, dedicating oneself to an art, contributing to the community. Every action, no matter how simple, is touched by the essential question: what is my purpose? What do I live for today? In this way, the Japanese person finds meaning even in the smallest gestures, transforming the everyday into a ritual of presence. Ikigai is born from the intersection of 4 dimensions: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what can bring sustenance. In Japan, this balance is seen as the key to a long and full life, for it frees one from the burden of haste and comparison. Unlike the Western concept of success, which is often measured by external achievements, Ikigai invites us to look inward and recognize that fulfillment can lie in both great projects and the care of small tasks. It is a philosophy that celebrates continuity, the natural flow of living, and teaches that happiness is not a final destination, but a path nourished every day. And you? Have you ever wondered what your Ikigai is? What makes your heart beat faster when you wake up? Maybe it isn't something distant or grand, but everyday gestures that, if acknowledged, can transform the way you see your life. Perhaps, in seeking your purpose, you'll discover you've been living it in silence for a long time. Habit 2. Kaizen, the small and continuous step. The Japanese person practices Kaizen in their life as one would care for a bonsai, patiently, one small adjustment at a time. They don't seek radical changes, but believe in the power of transforming themselves through micro-actions. When organizing their desk, they remove one paper today, adjust an object tomorrow. When learning a new skill, they dedicate a few minutes daily, without rushing to master it immediately. This daily gesture protects them from the anxiety of wanting everything at once and guides them to always move forward, even in small steps. Kaizen, which means change for the better, is a philosophy deeply rooted in Japanese culture. It was born in the post-war Reconstruction period, when Japanese companies realized that perfection was not the result of sudden revolutions, but of constant adjustments. Over time, this practice extended beyond workplaces and began to guide personal life as well. Kaizen teaches that true progress is not measured by speed, but by continuity. By adopting this mindset, the Japanese person finds serenity, knowing that even a small step forward today is better than stagnation. The secret is not in big leaps, but in perseverance that creates deep roots. And you, have you ever tried to change your life so drastically that you gave up halfway? Kaizen shows that there's no need to rush. Imagine if, instead of trying to change everything at once, you chose one single habit to improve today. How about starting small, without hurry, and trusting that slow steps can take you further than you imagined. Habit 3. Japanese minimalism. The space of the essential. The Japanese person walks through their home as if through a silent temple. Few objects occupy the space. Each has a clear function or holds a true memory. There are no unnecessary piles, no accumulation for the mere pleasure of possession. When organizing their living room, they don't think about filling empty spaces, but about freeing themselves from them. For them, emptiness is not lack, but invitation. Invitation to peace, contemplation, and rest of the mind. A clean tatami mat, a single flower in a vase, an open window letting in natural light, all become part of a setting where the essential prevails and the superfluous dissolves. This habit arises from a spiritual heritage, Zen Buddhism, which teaches us to find beauty in simplicity and to cultivate inner silence. Japanese minimalism is not an aesthetic of scarcity, but of awareness. It does not ask, "How much can I have?" but "What do I truly need?" In a country that has faced earthquakes, wars, and space limitations, detachment became a virtue, and excess a burden. That is why each object present carries dignity. Every choice is intentional. The clean and light Japanese home reflects the mind that seeks clarity. The absence of unnecessary things makes space for what is alive. Conversations, affections, moments. And you, have you looked around and felt that things weigh more than they help? How many objects collect dust instead of memories? Maybe it's time to let go of the superfluous so that the essential has room to flourish. Emptiness, after all, is not lack. It is the beginning of a new way of living. Habit 4. Wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection. The Japanese person holds a ceramic cup in their hands. It bears marks of use, a slightly worn rim, small cracks revealed by time, but instead of discarding it, they value it even more. Sometimes, they even repair the breaks with the art of kintsugi, filling the cracks with gold, making the imperfection visible and beautiful. This gesture is not just about preserving the object, but about honoring its story. Nothing needs to be perfect to be worthy. On the contrary, it's the signs of wear that reveal the truth of life. Wabi-sabi is a philosophy born from the recognition that nothing is eternal, complete, or perfect. The impermanence of cherry blossoms, which fall even at their peak beauty, reminds us that life is brief. The imperfection of objects reveals that we are all made of marks, stories, and vulnerabilities. In Japan, this is celebrated as beauty, not failure. While the world often tries to erase wrinkles, hide flaws, and chase an unattainable idea of perfection, Wabi-sabi invites us to accept the flow of time with humility and gratitude. It is an aesthetic of truth, where simplicity and naturalness outweigh any illusion of perfection. And you? Have you thought that maybe your own marks tell more about you than your flawless achievements? Have you looked at a worn object and realized it holds the memory of many moments? Maybe it is time to stop chasing the unattainable and begin recognizing the beauty that already exists in your imperfections. Habit 5. Oosouji. The Great Cleaning. In Japan, at the end of the year, the Japanese dedicate special time to the practice of Oosouji, the Great Cleaning. It is not just about tidying drawers or sweeping forgotten corners. It is a ritual of renewal. They clean not only the accumulated dust, but also the weight of the year that has passed. Broken items are discarded, old papers are burned, unused clothes are donated. Every act of cleaning is accompanied by a symbolic gesture, letting go so the new can enter. The house, in the end, is not just cleaner, it's lighter, more open, ready to welcome a fresh cycle. Oosouji has roots in Japanese spiritual tradition, where cleaning is not only physical, but also energetic. The belief is that an environment filled with excess and dirt traps the mind in the past. By cleaning, the Japanese person frees themselves from memories that no longer serve, creates space for new experiences, and honors the beginning of the year as a rebirth. It is no coincidence that this habit occurs before the new year. It marks a transition, a collective act of letting go and hope. A clean home symbolizes a peaceful soul. And you? Have you thought about how many things you carry that no longer belong in your life? A drawer full of papers, an overflowing closet, or even thoughts that occupy unnecessary space. Maybe it's time for a personal Oosouji, a cleaning not only of what you see, but also of what you feel. After all, how can the new come in if you don't make space for it? Habit 6. Shinrin-yoku, The forest bath. The Japanese person enters the forest not to walk in a hurry, but to simply be. They breathe deeply, smell the damp earth, watch the dance of light through the leaves, listen to the birdsong mingled with the wind. This ritual is called Shinrin-yoku, literally, forest bathing. They don't bring devices, don't seek distractions. They allow themselves to be immersed in the environment, like someone diving into invisible waters. With each step, the mind slows down, the body relaxes, and the breath finds its natural rhythm. Shinrin-yoku was born in Japan as a response to the fast-paced urban life and the pressures of work. Studies show that this contact with nature reduces stress, strengthens the immune system, and brings mental clarity. But beyond science, there is ancient wisdom behind this gesture. Recognizing that humans are not separate from nature, but part of it. The forest becomes a temple without walls, where each tree is a master of patience, each stream teaches flow, each stone reveals permanence. By practicing this forest bath, the Japanese person does not just relax, they remember who they truly are. And you? Have you thought about turning off the noise of the city and seeking the green silence of a forest? Maybe you don't have to go far. A park, a garden, even a solitary tree can offer this breath. Try approaching nature not as a visitor, but as part of it. Who knows? Maybe by doing so, you'll find the lightness you've been searching for. In the end, we don't take what we accumulate. We take what we live. We've come to the end of this journey through Japanese practices that reveal paths of simplicity, purpose, and harmony. Perhaps you've realized it's not about complex formulas or grand revolutions, but small gestures that, when added together, profoundly transform the way we live. Ikigai reminded us of the power of having a purpose. Kaizen showed that consistency is stronger than haste. Minimalism taught us that emptiness can be fertile. Wabi-sabi revealed the beauty that lives in imperfections. Oosouji purified our spaces and memories. And Shinrin-yoku reconnected us with the living silence of nature. These habits, born in Japanese lands, do not belong only to a people or culture. They belong to any human being willing to seek lightness amidst chaos. They invite us to rethink the pace at which we live, to reconsider the weight of what we carry, and to learn to let go. More than organization techniques, they are life philosophies, and, if embraced, can be seeds of transformation. Maybe you won't be able to adopt all of them right away. But if only one of these gestures remains, it will be enough to begin. A small step, a subtle change, can open the path to a life more organized inside and out. Because in the end, the real Japanese secret is not in doing more, but in being more. More present, more conscious, more light. And you, as you close this video, have you thought about which habit you call let bloom first in your life?